there are 2 floors up there, and then there is a little floor in the middle, in between these 2 lines, which are just kind of like short, like a midget floor, and it's got no windows, right?
Yes.
See that? And then it keeps on going down. I gotta tell you that this floor, this midget's floor, does have windows on the other side. I don't know if you haven't noticed it. Once you're there, take a look at it and see. Only there. So what's this funny midget's floor, which you cannot reach by the stairs? I checked it out, and not through the elevator. Also, if you compare it to a photo from the Richmond here, you see that there is no midget's floor. Weird. This is the 40s. See? Take a look up there. There are 2 floors with windows, and then there is a floor without any windows.
Those were added afterwards.
Okay, so obviously it was added later, right? This is an addition to the original building. But why would they have the need? Why would they keep the need? So
We are Pete.
okay, so here, look, when I was in 6th grade and I heard about this floor, what I was told is it was like a story told to the kids in Jerusalem. This is the Mossad floor, because the diplomats like Merkel coming down to Jerusalem, they will stay in King David's hotel. And somebody needs to listen to their radios and listen to their talks and their phones, right? So where would the Mossad people stay? We need a lot of people in the midget's floor. So when I was in the 6th grade, this is a true story. I decided, it was me with other friends of mine who decided to go and check this out. So we came here late at night. I don't know how my mom let me go out. I don't know. I think I just lied to her about something. We got here. We managed to get to that floor, not through the stairs, not through the elevator. And I wish I could tell you, but we swore to each other that we're not going to tell the details of this operation, so you can't know what to feel. But I got there, and here is a first hand. Thank you. It's really short. I had to bend a little when I was in the 6th grade. And we were expecting to see Mossad members, right? But we saw a lot of pipes filled up with covered with dust and some mattresses and cushions. It felt as if the Mossad people saw us coming and they just, took all the antennas down and just, spread over it. But really, I mean, that's it. Just, the pipes, what's going on? So it took me another, quite a few years when the hotel celebrated 75 years of its establishment, where I was already a tour guide, and for the first time we were allowed to see the archive of the hotel. It's not in Jerusalem, it's in Tel Aviv, in the Federman family's basement. Federman is the family who owns all the Dan hotels, including this. So for the first time in my life, I saw the document. Here is why they needed the midget's floor in King David Hotel. Thing is that when Israeli Jerusalem was established in 1948, this was actually on the border. Remember, we were talking about maybe we should also this. And nobody wanted to stay in this hotel, which was already, remember, this part was destroyed and not even rebuilt yet. And the whole thing was in ruins, and it was in front of the snipers. So nobody wanted to come to Jerusalem anyway in these 19 years, because what could you possibly find here, right? Think about it. 19 years, you're a Christian, you're Jewish. What can you possibly do in Israeli Jerusalem? All the holy places are on the other side, right? The old city, Mount of Olives, Temple Mount. What's to see here? Nothing, right? So even those who did come definitely didn't want to stay here. So the Mossaris, four Mossaris, the family who owned it, didn't know what to do, and the municipality of Jerusalem offered them this idea. They said, listen, we're going to help you sell the building. You're going to get a very cheap price, but at least you'll sell it. And we'll convince the buyers to do it, because we do want to operate it again as a hotel. It's important for us as the municipality of Jerusalem. So the Federmans bought the hotel for a very cheap price, and the thing that convinced them, they were lured into this agreement, was that they were going to be given a permission to build another 2 floors and not pay arnona, not to pay any taxes for these 2 floors. But the only the only thing that they had to do was to build a 3rd floor for the IDF. Why is that? Because it's in front of the enemy, right? They need to secure the building. Okay, so the Federmans found out that all the pipes are on the roof. So they planned to somehow make, to build the two higher floors on top of the pipes instead of changing the whole thing, and then build the two floors. But then they said, you know what? Wait.
That was the roof.
Yeah, they said, we were not told that the IDF floor has to be on the roof. Let's just make it a little higher than we planned. And there will be right here, we're going to block everything and only open windows facing the east where the enemy is, right? And it doesn't have to be so high because anyway, they're lying down, right? And they're soldiers. They don't have to stand or anything. And that was the plan, and that's how they started, and that's why they built the Legion's floor. Their only problem was that they didn't have this reddish color stones because the original quarry that was used by the Musseris was in Hebron. I want to remind you that when the country was split, Hebron was under the Jordanian rule. So they finished building the whole thing. They could not open it yet because they didn't have the stones to cover it. Only 1968, they managed to get all the stones from Hebron and finish it. At that point, they did not need the IDF floor, right? Because there was no enemy waiting on the other side, so they just left it that way. That's how it appears in the archive. But I gotta tell you, so that if this is really just not an important floor that nobody really needs and nobody really uses, it's just kind of like a storage room. So how come here in